Okay.
Thanks.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Again, I'll get it sooner or later. Protein. So aim for about 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, or your realistic goal weight if you have 50 plus pounds to lose. And then lean meats, eggs, fish, and plant-based proteins like beans and lentils are all great options. And this really goes toward whatever phase you're in. So I know this was a question within the app as well, is how do I hit my protein and my fiber and all these things when we're in a calorie deficit? So when I'm more so in a fat loss phase, I tend to go more towards leaner proteins. So more towards like ground turkey, ground chicken, chicken in general, lean ground beef, things of that sort, because you get more bang for your buck. So you're going to get more protein for less calories. When I'm more towards maintenance or even in a surplus, I tend to prefer fattier proteins. So that's what I go towards, where I love like steak and salmon. I like a little bit fattier of ground beef, things like that. So it really depends what phase you're in and what calories you're trying to hit. But any of those really works for it. I always say, try to aim for only one artificial protein a day. It does affect digestion. So if you're eating, a protein powder for breakfast and then having a bar for lunch and then having like a Quest protein chip for a snack, you see it a lot. Like absolutely you're getting your protein in, but digestion's probably not the best and you're probably not going to feel as full and satiated and just not feel your best. So try to aim for one artificial protein a day and the rest come from whole food sources. One of the questions I got too in the app was, what protein powder do I prefer? I have a few that I love. So I love Legion. Really simple, good ingredients, and they have a million flavors that are all delicious. I think I have 4 or 5 in my pantry right now. I also love Clean Simple Eats protein. They have really great flavors too and a broad variety. And I just tried a brand new one. It's from Ballerina Farm. If anyone follows her, she's really cool to watch. She does everything on her own farm, but they just came out with a protein that is delicious, super great ingredients. And they have 3 flavors. I've tried 2 and they're all delicious. So any of those are always my go-to favorites. And I tend to just choose ones that don't have a ton of ingredients and they're not as processed, just because my body feels better doing it. And that's what I look for when I look for different protein powders and also bars. The bars I tend to go to are RX bars, super simple ingredients, nothing artificial. They don't have as much protein. So if you're looking for a high protein bar, that's probably not it. But again, super clean, simple ingredients, which I love. I also love Bear bars because they taste like
Mhm.
candy to me. They're low in sugar, they have great macros, and they're really great to just throw in a bag on the go.
There's a question from Angela if you want to watch it.
Yes, let me pull it up.
Oh yeah, I can.
If we want to lose weight, say 5 to 10 pounds, should we drop our protein to meet our goal weight? For stance, I'm 135, but would like to be around 125. Would I lower my protein? So this also depends on how much muscle mass you have too. I would say I would actually stick around that 135 grams. So the leaner you are, the more towards the 1 gram per body weight you're going to go, if not a little bit over. So for my girls that, only need to lose 5 to 10 pounds, but they're really focusing on preserving muscle and building muscle, I tend to go towards that 1 gram range or even a little bit over.
Agreed.
And then also it's going to keep you in a calorie deficit. It's going to keep you a lot more full and satiated, which is really important, right? We don't want you feeling hungry throughout a calorie deficit. If you're someone that tends to, get to 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you're starving and you're wanting to snack on everything, always look at your breakfast. Did I have enough protein to start the day? Did I front load protein? A lot of times, if you're someone that gets home at night and like rummages through your pantry because you're so hungry, it's just because you didn't have enough protein during the day to keep you full and satiated and keep blood sugar balanced. So when you get home, you're starving, you're reaching towards anything you can. Also, if you're someone that struggles to get enough protein in, I always try to aim for 35 to 40 grams per meal. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. it keeps me full and satiated. I barely need to snack, and it's a lot easier for me to hit my protein goal. If I only go into breakfast eating about 10 grams of protein, I'm almost guaranteed not to hit my protein goal at the end of the day. You don't want to get to the end of the day and have like 70 grams of protein to hit where you feel like you're eating like grilled chicken out of the fridge, out of a bag before. So I would definitely try to front load protein. Again, it's going to help keep your energy balanced during the day. It's going to help keep you full and satiated in between meals, and you're going to feel a lot better doing so.
I read something in Laura Brydon's latest book, The Metabolism Repair, that your body is going to be until you have gotten all the protein that your body needs and craves, you're going to feel hungry. So it's kind of like when you have nailed the protein, that's kind of when you are satiated. And I think it was just such a simplistic way of looking at it, that your body's going to crave that protein. It's not going to necessarily crave calories, it's craving protein. Like thinking of it that way, I think like just simplifies it a little bit.
Absolutely. And I will say, if you're under eating protein right now and you have a specific goal of how much protein you're going to hit, you're probably going to feel a little bit bloated at first. I tend to get people to say, I cannot eat this much food. I'm bloated. I'm full. This feels like too much. Your body does adapt to it. And you get to a point to where, like Henrietta just said, you actually crave it. And I have clients that are like, in the beginning, it was far too much. They were so full all the time, maybe a little bit bloated, and they get to a point where they were like, wow, I didn't eat protein for breakfast and I really felt it. So they're more so able to notice what protein does for their body. Typically, though, if you're feeling that way right now, especially with the challenge, I would say give it a week or two and just let your body adapt. I promise you'll adapt and you'll feel so much better doing so. So the second one is fiber. This is the secret weapon for health. So fiber-rich foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains keep you full, support digestion, and even help control blood sugar levels. 25 grams per day can work wonders, improving heart health to supporting a balanced gut microbiome, excuse me. So this is so important, and I think it's something that we overlook. And sometimes we think we're getting a lot of fiber in, and we're actually pretty low in fiber. So fiber, like it says, is going to keep you a lot more full and satiated during the day, paired with protein, especially in a fat loss. You're going to feel so much better. It's also going to help a ton with digestion and bloating. So if you're someone that experiences where you're not going to the bathroom daily, that's not normal. And the first place I typically look is fiber. What does your fiber look like, and what kinds of fiber are you eating? Is it artificial fibers where you're getting it from like Metamucil, or are you getting in fruits and veggies, beans, lentils, stuff like that during the day where it's actually helping your gut? It's also going to help balance blood sugar levels. So with getting fiber in each and every meal, just like your protein, you're going to have a lot more balanced energy during the day. You should feel a lot more better throughout your day.
What should we look for in a fiber supplement? Someone asked.
Oh, that's interesting. So I tend to actually stay away from supplements typically. Altogether, just because, again, I sometimes feel like it can cause the opposite effect. Will actually make you a little bit more bloated, and your body just doesn't absorb it as well as natural fibers like fruits and vegetables. The one supplement that I have seen that it's very simple ingredients, it doesn't have a lot of like crazy things that you can't read, and it does help quite a bit, is Thorne Fiber Mend. It has 7 to 9 grams of fiber off the top of my head. I have that in my pantry. I don't use it very often. I use it as like a last minute if I got through the day and I just noticed I don't have much fiber. But typically I don't recommend fiber supplements at all. I would rather you focus on one ingredient whole foods that are, one, going to make you a lot more full and satiated during the day. Two, your body's going to digest a lot better, and you get to eat your food. We should always focus on ingredients and like eating our food rather than getting it from supplements.
Yeah, and the main reason why a fiber supplement is usually not ideal and why most of us have issues is because they're typically coming from like one source, like psyllium husk, right? Where if we're eating high fiber foods, we're getting so much different variety of fiber sources. And we're getting soluble fiber, we're getting insoluble fiber, and those are going to do different things, right? So insoluble fiber remains intact, and so it's going to help food move through our digestive tract, where soluble fiber combined with water, so this could be an issue too if you're eating a lot of fiber and you're not drinking any water. Soluble fiber is water soluble, and that helps bulk up your stool too. And so it'll pull, basically, I'm trying to think the best way to explain that. But if you are noticing you're having an issue with that, then I would lean towards more sources of soluble fiber. If you're having trouble just like going to the bathroom, then I would lean probably more towards insoluble fiber, but you need both. So just eating a variety of high fiber foods and not just one source will be very helpful.
Absolutely. Yes. And if you struggle with digestion at all, again, like I said in the beginning, fiber is something I would definitely look at. I always look at fiber, I look at water, and I look at processed foods. What kind of foods are you fueling your body with?
Yeah.
And again, going to the bathroom every 2 to 3 days is not normal. You should be going to the bathroom at least once a day, and really looking into quality of foods and then what kind of foods you're fueling your body with. So number 3, and this kind of goes with fiber as well, is veggie, the nutrient powerhouses. So vegetables are low calorie, high nutrient foods packed with antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. Eating 400 grams of veggies daily promotes digestion, manages weight, and reduces the risk of chronic disease. Think of them as your nutritional insurance policy. So veggies, 400 grams can seem very overwhelming if you have not been focusing on vegetables before. And 400 grams is about 4 cups a day. I typically say if you haven't been focusing much on vegetables, start at 300 grams, about 300 cups a day, and then build from there. Just like Casey had said last week, like build upon a habit. You don't need to change overnight, but it's that we find something that we're consistently hitting and then build upon that. So vegetables is a really great thing for there. Is if you're struggling to get in 4 cups of veggies a day, start at 2 to 3 and then build upon that. So vegetables, you get a lot of bang for your buck. So vegetables are filled with fiber, but there are usually very low calories. So you get a lot of volume in your food. So specifically like in a fat loss phase, where obviously calories are a little bit lower than what you would normally eat, we want to increase the volume in our food. So rather than having, half a cup of rice, and then, a little bit of grilled chicken, we can have a giant plate of food that's going to keep us a lot more full and satiated. We're going to have a lot more food throughout the day, and we're going to feel a lot better, and it's going to help with digestion. To get in my veggies, I typically do 2 cups of veggies at lunch and then 2 cups of veggies at dinner. My breakfast is mainly like fruit for my fiber, but I was talking to Michaela before this too, and she says she actually does veggies as a snack on the go as well. So any way that you want to get it in, even like as a snack, is a great way to get it in.
Avocado would be considered a fruit. Great source of fat and also a good source of fiber. Someone just asked this. And then are we measuring cooked vegetables for the 400 goal or in raw form? We were just talking about this as a team. I feel like if you aren't eating any veggies, just eyeball 4 cups a day. If you're doing that already, then maybe go for the 400 grams of raw. If you're doing that already, then maybe try to up it to 400 grams of cooked. This isn't like an all or nothing approach. Like, where are you at? Can you do a little better? Or maybe you don't need to do a little better. Maybe you just do those 4 cups a day and like it's working and that's all you can handle, and that's great.
Right.
So yes, 400 grams. It like the ultimate goal would be raw, but you do what works best for you. We are not super specific for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, too, like Michaela said, build upon that habit. If you're eating 400 grams cooked right now and you're like, I'd like to add a little bit more, then you can
Do
build
5.
exactly and add snacks and as veggies, things like that. But it doesn't have to be a one size fits all. I think the main thing is that we just consistently focus on getting better quality foods in, more fiber to really help fuel our body and feel our best.
Yeah, I love that.
For veggies and fiber too, when it feels very overwhelming, I tend to make a list. Okay, like my favorite ways to get in fiber are like avocado, like Michaela said. I love blueberries, I love raspberries. So that's typically what I tend to do. And then I'll pick 2 or 3 of my favorite vegetables. and I roast them first thing in the week, like Sunday night, and then I have them in my fridge ready to go. I can pop them in the microwave with my protein. I'm a big person that ingredient preps, so I don't necessarily meal prep because I get sick of foods very easily. So I like to just be able to have my protein in the fridge, some veggies roasted in the fridge. I can throw them in a bowl, in a microwave, put some sauce on it, and have a meal. And it sets me up for success during the week too, rather than in the moment having to cut up veggies and roast them for lunch and dinner is very overwhelming. And 9 out of 10 times I just won't do it because I either don't have the time or it just seems like it's too much at that time. So definitely ingredient prepping and having them ready for the week will help you, especially when you're first starting out. So practical tips to crush your nutrition goals, plan ahead for success. So pretty much what I was just talking about, meal planning ensures you hit your calorie and macro goals while staying flexible. Using the HF app or jot down meals at the start of the week, a little prep goes a long way. So like I said, I ingredient prep. I don't necessarily meal prep just because I like variety. So I'll pick 2 or 3 proteins at the beginning of the week, like chicken thighs, lean ground beef, sometimes salmon, all in I'll prep it all on a Sunday. I'll do a couple veggies at the beginning of the week. And then during the week, I make little meals out of it. So for instance, for lunch on Monday, I might do a taco bowl with my with like roasted peppers and some ground beef. Just
Mm.
a bowl, throw some salsa, a little bit of cheese and sour cream and lettuce on it. You're good to go. And then for Tuesday, I might do barbecue chicken with grilled asparagus and some potatoes on the side, whatever it may be. But I do like having variety in my food, and I feel like it keeps it a little bit more interesting and fun during the week rather than getting burnt out on the same meal. But definitely plan for success. Like I said, if it comes to lunchtime and I have nothing prepped, usually I'm going to DoorDash something or I'm going to eat like whatever is closest to me. I'm going to grab a protein shake rather than having a full and satiating meal. Build protein into every meal. So start your day with high protein options like eggs or Greek yogurt, add lean meats to lunch and dinner, and snack on protein rich choices like string cheese or edamame. So I recommend getting 35 to 45 grams of protein in every meal if you can, just because again, it's going to set you up for success during the day, and you're also going to feel your best. So that helps a lot as well. But then having protein choices on hand, like I always have Chomp's beef stick in my backpack. I always have some RX bars. I always have some stuff that when I'm on my go and if I'm in a pinch, I have stuff I can grab, go. I don't have to worry about it. Add veggies to the plate first. So fill half your plate with veggies before anything else. Stir fry salad and roasted vegetables are easy, flavorful options. So again, I try to get in 2 cups of veggies with my lunch and dinner, just to make sure. Again, I like a big volume meal. I'm not much of a snacker, so my meals are like my thing. So I would rather have a big, delicious meal, rather than something like half a cup of rice and a little bit of grilled chicken, especially in a fat loss phase. I want something that's satiated, that when I finish, I'm going to feel good and full in. And also, I like going to bed with a fuller stomach. I don't like going to bed feeling hungry. So veggies and fiber alone really help that because you're allowed to add a lot more volume to your meal with a low price because it's not very calorie heavy. Sneak fiber into snacks, so swap chips for high fiber options like carrots and hummus, apple slices with peanut butter. Small swaps add up. Absolutely. So again, pick your favorite fruits, pick your favorite veggies, and build it into your day. My new thing that I've liked lately is I cut up a bunch of like cucumber and carrots and celery, and then I do plain Greek yogurt, non-fat Greek yogurt, and I put a ranch seasoning packet in it. And you mix it up and it's a ranch dip. So you got your protein, you got some veggies
I
and
love
fiber.
that.
So yeah, that's a really good one. I make my own little peanut butter, like high protein dip for apples too. So I do like some of the PB2. I put a little bit of protein powder in it and then I mix it with Greek yogurt as well. And it makes it for like a sweet dip for apples and fruit and stuff like that. So you can get creative with this too. Again, you can have veggies for breakfast. You can have veggies on the go. Like Michaela said, she puts them in a baggie and she goes and does school pickup and school drop-offs and stuff like that with it too. So the biggest thing is I would focus on just having ingredients on hand and pre-planning when you're getting started so that it doesn't seem so overwhelming.
Baby bell cheeses and carrots and bell pepper are my go-to in the car too.
Yeah. And I call them adult Lunchables. So I'll do like a little adult charcuterie plate, throw it in like a tub. So I'll do like deli turkey, I love the baby bell cheeses or laughing cow cheeses, a bunch of veggies, and then I'll do like that Greek yogurt ranch dip on the side, and it's super filling. And I kind of feel like I'm having a treat on the go.
And the snack, I just want to say that chickpeas in the air fryer, like with some seasoning, just air fry them till they are crunchy. That's a perfect little snack that you can have anytime, basically.
I love it. And that's like if you would need a chip fix too, like if you're craving.
Yeah, exactly.
Hydrate. So drink at least 80 ounces of water daily. Thirst is often mistaken for hunger. So staying hydrated helps curb unnecessary snacking. So this was part of a habit that we've already started within the challenge, but water and getting in your water is so important. Again, like this says, it can be mistaken for hunger. So if you're not drinking much water and you're finding yourself always hungry, typically it's just because you're a little bit dehydrated. I also try to front load my water. So I'll have 24 ounces of water before I even touch coffee, just so I can front load it during the day, because then my day gets busy if I forget to drink water. We're at 7 p.m. at night where I've had like 15 ounces of water. And the last thing I want to do is chug water and then be up all night long going to the bathroom. So trying to front load it during the day. I've also set alarms in my phone before when I notice that I'm just not hitting my water goal, where every hour it goes off and I know I have to drink like 8 to 16 ounces of water. And it's a good reminder during the day if you're someone that gets really busy and just forgets. Also having just a water jug with you at all times is so helpful. If it's there with you, you're bound to drink it. So just setting yourself up for success to stay hydrated. Limit processed foods. So stick to whole, unprocessed foods as much as possible. Added sugars and empty calories leave you feeling hungry and unsatiated. So I'm a big believer in there's no good foods, there's no bad foods. There's foods that really help fuel our body and help us feel our best and get to our goals. And then there's fun foods that we want to be able to go out with friends and enjoy ice cream and pizza, or take our kids to go get a burger and french fries or whatever it may be, and not feel guilt about it. So it's really about focusing. I use the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time we should be focusing on our one ingredient, whole foods, getting in our fruits and veggies, getting in our proteins, and really focusing on foods that are going to help us feel our best. But of course, we want to be able to balance out the fun foods as well and go for ice cream or pizza or whatever it may be. So as long as you're focusing on mostly enjoying one ingredient, whole foods, and building that into your routine, the other stuff is not off limits. We just want to limit it. So that's not all we're eating, and we're still focusing on digestion, feeling our best, and building muscle.
Someone asked what 10% where did that 10%, what does 10% goal body weight and protein mean for this week's goals? So I can answer that. Just staying within 10% of your goal body weight and protein. So that's kind of the easier one. Like Maurissa mentioned, if you only have 5 pounds to lose, 10 pounds to lose, you might want to set your protein goal just at your current weight to really prioritize keeping as much lean tissue as possible or building as much muscle as possible. But let's say you weigh 200 pounds and your goal body weight is 175 or 160, then being within 10% of that 160 grams of protein. And I think also even you could go as low as 0.8 of your goal body weight too. If you're like, oh my gosh, my goal body weight is 175. There's no way I can hit that much protein. I'm eating 50 grams a day right now. Just like we've talked about, it's not something over nothing. Ask us if you need some guidance, but if you're eating 50 grams of protein a day, let's just start with 100 grams. That's goal number 1, and be within 10% of 100 grams of protein. So be 90 grams of protein. You can go above that as much as you want, really, especially if your goal is 100. But let's say you want to improve upon that, then maybe times 175 which is your goal body weight by 0.8. So 175 times 0.8, that gives you 140. So your goal is 140 grams of protein. You're trying to hit that every day, and you want to stay within 10% of that. So staying within 14 grams of that 140 grams of protein is how you should kind of gauge if you're doing that habit. So that's what I would recommend. Anything to add to that, Marissa, or anyone else?
Just something that I like thought about with clients that are struggling with getting in a lot of protein. The weekend can be even harder because the one is on the go. So what I usually say, if that is becomes kind of a mental, emotional thing where like they feel like I'm not gonna make it because I'm not gonna be able to do it on the weekends, then I usually say like let's not focus on the weekend right now. Let's try to get in a routine on the weekdays. Like first of all, let's focus on that. And when you're feeling like you are achieving that and you feel good about what you're able to do, that's when we can start also focusing on the weekend. So this really depends on where you're at, but just always feeling like what you're doing is achievable, I think is important to be able to continue growing. So you have to kind of start where it's right for you to start with that goal, or with any goal, basically.
Absolutely. And piggybacking off of what they said too, if you're eating, 50 to 70 grams of protein right now, our first goal should be 100. When that feels really good and consistent, let's bump it to 120. When that feels really good, we'll bump it up even more. But finding a realistic goal, I feel like is essential, because when you put a goal that's way beyond what you're doing right now and it feels unachievable, naturally as humans, we just want to give up. We're just not going to do it because it's not happening and it feels like that's impossible. I can't do that. And that just doesn't work. So find goals in all of this, especially if you're part of the challenge, that feels achievable to you. And then you can build upon that. Something is always better than nothing. And we're always a work in progress. I know, like, I still struggle with water. And this is what I do for a living. So I do have to make sure that I'm really prioritizing it during the day. I'm setting alarms and I'm setting achievable goals and then build upon them.
Called shaping in behavioral psychology.
And this is why we recommended the book Atomic Habits too. Like, it's such a good way to understand that, like, just building, you're so much better off to just like add a little bit versus just completely overhauling everything. It's so much more exciting to completely overhaul everything. You get that like huge rush of dopamine and you're like, I got it all mapped out. I'm changing my life tomorrow. And like, I'm doing all these different things. And it like gives you that nice dopamine rush. And then 2 weeks into it, you're like, what was I thinking? This is terrible. I hate all of these habits. So it's like, how can we just weave them in so you can still continue to show up in your life in the same way and not overwhelm yourself? But 6 months from now, you're going to see and feel such a big difference and can continue to grow up and build off of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I covered the next two a little bit, but batch prep vegetables, like I said, if you have something on hand, you're much more likely to eat it and enjoy it rather than you get to lunchtime, you're already starving, you have nothing on hand. Well, the last thing I want to do is cut up vegetables and roast them for 45 minutes, right? That's just not going to happen. Even if you have broccoli in your freezer and it's one of those steamable bags that you can throw in the microwave, I always recommend those as well. Super easy. Those pre-made salads from Trader Joe's or any store that you can throw in a bowl with some dressing and your protein. Like we just talked about, anything's better than nothing, but always having something on hand to where it's easy, you can reach for it, and you have no excuses. Pack protein on the go, so keep portable options like protein bars or shakes handy for busy days. They're lifesavers when you're short on time. So I like Chomp's beef sticks. I always have some in my diaper bag. I like RX bars. I always have some of those. I do have dried edamame, like little pouches too. They're like chips, kind of like the beans that Henrietta was just talking about. So just little things where I have them in my car on the go. If I get hungry, I'm not going to have to like stop at McDonald's or grab something really quick. I have something and it's going to help me towards my goal and it's going to help me feel a lot better as well.
I just got this really cute, I know we're like over on time, but I was just going to say, I just got this really cute little hard-boiled egg maker, and my kids are older now.
cute.
And have you seen those? So my kids are older now, and my daughter loves hard-boiled eggs, and I'm trying to give them just more ways to get some protein in throughout the day, in between sports and everything. And I haven't even used this yet, but I've just benefited from her, making eggs throughout the week. I'll share it. It's $18 and it's seriously so easy. It takes like maybe 10 minutes. But you just set it and kind of forget it. And then it will play some cute little music when it goes off. I just shared it in the group if anyone, but that's so easy too. You can just take a couple hard-boiled eggs with you on the go with some veggies, and like, that's so easy to do.
Yeah, and even like I've done when my kids have like sports games back to back and I know I won't be home, I've bought like just a bento box and
Yeah.
like different things to snack on, which was so helpful. And two, when you're in a place where you're like nothing's around you but like food trucks or fast food, you want to be able to have something that's going to make you feel better and keep you full and satiated. So we talked about staying consistent but flexible. Again, something is better than nothing. Set realistic goals for yourself and then build upon them. Again, that's how we make them habits rather than setting something that's unachievable or that we go hard in for 2 weeks and then we get super burnt out and we never want to do it again. So set goals that are achievable and then build upon those habits. And then last, track your progress. So use the AHF app or food journal to monitor your daily intake. Tracking for a lot of people seems very long, very boring. It's not something most people want to do. And I always like to say, use it as an educational tool. It's not something that you have to be attached to for the rest of your life, but use it to educate yourself. Okay, how much protein am I getting in right now? What are my calories looking like? What's my fiber at? Eventually, the more you use it and the more you start learning from it, you don't necessarily need a tracking tool forever. In fact, I don't think anyone should ever be attached to a tracker to where they have to track for the rest of their lives. It's meant to be educational. It's meant to show you where you're at, where you feel your best, and then how to get to, a fat loss phase, or maybe we're just staying at maintenance and tracking can be a little bit looser, or maybe you want to build muscle and go into a surplus. So I really use tracking as just an educational tool to teach where I'm at, where I feel my best, and then where I want to go. But you don't have to do it forever. And in fact, it really teaches you, I can eyeball, 6, 7 gram or ounces of protein, no big deal, just because I was tracking for so long to where now I can more so eat intuitive, but know how to fuel my body and reach my goals.
I love it.
And that's all I
Thank
have.
you.
Wants to add on to that or have any questions? I know we're over on time too, but.
Yeah, and just for those doing the build challenge, just please remember if this habit specifically feels really daunting, something over nothing, you guys. We are here to improve, not to be all or nothing with our habits. So just express it to us in the group. Like, this feels like a lot. Where should I start? And we'll give you some strategies. That's what we're here for. So just know you're not failing if you're not checking that habit off. You can decide what that looks like for you this week, check it off, and then we're going to do this habit for 3 weeks. So, and hopefully forever. So each week you can just improve upon it. That is the goal. So we are here to help you strategize and love to do so. And if you feel like this is daunting, then guaranteed at least 10 other people do as well. So we kind of did optimal. But we can build up to that over the next 3 weeks. Could you send us the name of those protein shakes you like? I tend to buy the ones at Costco, but not sure if they are good.
Yeah, can I link it here now?
Yeah, it might go away. I would link it in the group. I'll link this hard-boiled egg thing in the group too.
Yeah, I'll send the protein powders that I tend to go towards. And then if I want something on the go, I'm more so just a Fairlife girl. Like if I need to pick something up at a gas station really quick,
Yeah.
again, a little bit more processed.
Yeah.
It tastes good and it's something better than nothing.
Yes.
But I'll link protein powders I like as well.
I like the Clean Simple Eight's clear protein too. That's like, I can't get those at a gas station, but I can get them at the grocery store and I have them on hand and I can just like take them with me on the go, which is nice.
I wish they sold those here. I think they sell them
Might
in
be just like a Utah thing. Yes. Yes, you might need to order them for those that are not in Utah.
I've ordered a case on Amazon and those are good.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, thanks for joining, ladies. Have a great week, and we are excited to stay connected in the app.
Thank you.